everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
A quick announcement. We noticed that we each are a bit laggy or skippy, and I rebooted to see if it was me and didn't seem to help. So we checked, and in the northeast of the U.S., there's a big outage somewhere. We also heard somebody saying something about Verizon having issues, and whenever a big company like that goes down, while they're rebooting their system, it causes weird issues. So if we seem like we're talking and our movements aren't catching up with us, it's okay. It's okay. Things are all right. Things are fine. So there you go.
We're here. We're fine.
Yep.
How is it? Look who's here.
Yes.
Yay.
So nice to see you.
Hey, Sarah.
Where have you been? Have you been pirating? I hear you.
Pirating.
I was a pirate last weekend. Yeah. I was raiding and getting the booty. Raiding and getting booty. The booty.
I don't even want to hear about that. La 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 la.
That's what pirates call it. The booty.
Let's see if I can get this going here. Oh, that's Betsy's screen. Where's my screen? There's my screen. How have you? Boy, what a big morning. Everybody's here early. Everybody's talking about the weather. It's chilly places. And I just want to talk about the question of the week.
Well, you go for it.
I'm going to go for it. So the question of the week is, if you wrote a novel about your family history, what would the title be? Some really good answers.
Yes.
Greg, what would your title be?
My title, I think it would be like a tale of four families.
Yeah, that's a good one. Betsy? Sarah?
Sorry.
Betsy's title would
I
be,
knew you were going to ask me, sorry.
I was not prepared.
No.
I'm not prepared either. Don't ask me. I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared.
Mine would be Holes.
Holes.
That would probably get confused with the actual
Movie?
book.
Yeah.
Holes.
Yeah, there was a book and a movie called Holes.
Yeah.
But it was way different than what I would write.
Yes.
Question of the week: if you wrote a novel about your family history, what would the title be? Who and where and who in the world did I come from? All that, and just how do I get here? Luther Brown. I'd call it Stong with no R. That's from Roger Stong. He has a family history that is buckskin breeches.
Oh,
Got a
neat.
link to it there. 1937 settlement of Iowa. I almost said Ottawa.
Uh-oh.
Nobody wrote any of this down in retrospect. John Vasky. I'm probably gonna go through all of these people. So, and there's only 46 answers, so 3 pages. Let's see. It was the best of times and the worst of times. Since Dickens is not in copyright, Leanne, because we always watch about those copyrights.
Yes, that's right.
Hold my beer and listen to this shtick. Thank you, Casey.
Are they from Florida?
I think Kitty is from out west.
Oh, I didn't it just said K. That is Kitty.
I think it's Kitty.
It makes sense. Smith. Makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. She says, I thought it sounded better than What Happened with Me. Great Love and Great Loss by Alexis Nelson.
That's a good one.
Aaron Robertson is writing, Why Can't We Sit at the Same Table, a Study in Grudge Holding? And I love Doug McCallum's comment to her is, we must be related. Mine would be, who are we not speaking to this week? What happened? And the subtitle of that would be, What Happened at the Kids' Table?
Yes.
A dull light may have shone here, maybe. Christina Adams. I got to do some of these in a Carol Burnett satirical. Oh my God, really? Anne Brown. Time Machine, Historical Facts and Other Stories That Led to Me, Ken Parman. You got to be kidding. Now, is the title actually with the big surprise face?
It has to be.
Is that a part of the title?
Sure.
Or is it Mary Gee? This is one for part of my family, The 9 Lives of Charlotte Taylor. I think maybe if I wrote a book one book, it would be The Lost Irish Princess. You know how we have that. We have that story in my married family, but they really do go back to an Irish princess, and that Irish princess's baron was kicked out in the 1600s, and he has a duchy now. He lives in Spain, and he's still the leader of the O'Doherty clan.
Mm-hmm.
The Kellett and Chalmers family, South Island Spanish. Now, this has to do with Maori ancestors, and South Island Spanish used to hide the term, to hide the facts of being part native, which is something people are excited about now, Darren. So I think you can change it. You have changed the name of that title. There you go. Take that and run with it. Blood, Flood, and Hell and High Water. Lucas Murphy, talking about Mississippi River flooding. It's a quote from Patsy Cline in the movie Coal Miner's Daughter. I like this. Where did all the money go? Brian Quesnell. Eking Out a Living on Nova Scotia Seas. Matthew Sullivan. We got a couple of Nova Scotia name tags here. They didn't have TV. That is so now. That is such a now
And
thing.
they survived?
Sarah Jenkins. They didn't
What
have
did they
TV.
do?
I have one family of ancestors with 19 children. Remember an older friend who's now passed, now making the above comment. You know, that babysitter, admit it, you put Sophia in front of the TV all the time, Greg, right?
No.
Yeah. And feed her PB&Js?
Yes. Not yet.
Yeah. I think the Fords of the Catawba. Now, this is Pip Shepherd. And he's talking about, and I actually know the area he's talking about. And there is a weird thing where people did not there's a really big endogamous community in this area. And I kept thinking, you know, what is it that's keeping them apart? Before the Catawba was dammed for power, the river was not near the barrier for social communications as it is now. I have families who lived on both sides and married their across the river neighbors. But the real border between those communities down there was language, because a huge group of settlers came down from Germantown in Philadelphia. So they all spoke French and German. How about that?
Interesting.
Maybe Hand Me Down, or Maybe I Seek Dead People, Carol Baldwin. You Can't Make This Up by Melanie Countryman. Okay, I put in the cuss word. I did. I admit that. You guys be thinking about the best one. I can't decide which one is the best one of the week, so we need to pick the best.
Okay.
We need to star the best, so pick the best answer. Catfish and Cacti from Eileen Robinson. Why Jamaica? Anonymous Rodriguez.
Why not?
Really? Well, except in hurricane season.
Yeah.
All roads lead to Haverhill. Okay,
that's Chris.
Ariella, we know you have a blog.
Yes.
All right, so
If he was here, he'd say you pronounced that wrong.
Averill.
Is it Haverhill?
Isn't it Averill?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, here's Chris's blog.
He's not here to correct us.
Oh,
No,
I thought he was.
he's
Oh my
gonna
goodness.
watch this later.
haven't
He'll
seen him.
see. Hey, Chris, I put your blog up.
He'd be so happy. And
Yeah.
Yeah, he
so
would,
sad.
and he misses it. Oh wow!
Look at the picture of his grandparents, or whoever that is, with a broken
Nice.
glass. Oops. Funny, Chris. Let's see. Oh, wait. Pronounced so it rhymes with wave. For real? Haverhill. Oh, it's
Haverhill.
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 Look,
April.
put in there. Oh, my giddy aunts and uncles. Judith Brooksbank. David White.
Yes.
Or Witt. David Witt. Witt by name, witty by nature.
Nice.
Grandpa Frank's favorite saying. Like one last name wasn't enough.
Oh.
Bill
Edmonds
Edmonds
Bayless.
Bayless. He has a hyphenated name. I just want to point that out in case he
That's
hadn't
funny.
noticed
Like
that.
one last name wasn't.
My novel would be titled In Search of the Wandering Soul. This is the actual title of my novel. So look up Mickey Bean.
Ooh.
Didn't link us to it, but there's a Mickey Bean novel out there.
Neat.
Living with Dead People, M. Ross. I think we all do that every day. Some of us a little more than others. Marriage is I think this is supposed to be optional.
Yes.
I think Derek Allen, but let's call it optional.
Apparently, everybody was over at the other stream that was made. Remember, there was 2 for February.
There was 2
4th.
streams?
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I couldn't. Yeah, there was 2 for February 4th.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
Do I need to start over? We've been looking through the answers of the week. We talked about the fact that there's a little bit of a glitch somewhere in the internet of the world. And so there might be some laggy or twitchy or stuff going on. So you'll see it. Go back and watch the first 5 minutes on the recording.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll get all of it. The question of the week is, if you wrote a novel about your family, what would the title be? And you guys are trying to figure out, and I'll ask once we're done, which one was the best answer? Okay, the modern Janissary is looking for his ancestors. Okay, I had to look that up.
Yeah.
And that is an original fighter for the Ottoman Sultan's household troops in the first modern standing army in Europe. So it's an elite infantry. So I looked that up. Legacy of Love and Faith, Nelda Spires.
That's nice.
I have already written a document about my sisters and mine's ancestry. The guano connection. Does anybody know what guano is? It's droppings from a winged creature. Yeah, bats, birds. Apparently, this is a cute story.
Not just bats.
There can't be too many married couples who first met because of bird droppings, but that is what happened to our great-grandparents, George Jonas and Jane Ellen Payne. On his farm, Samuel used a lot of guano, which he frequently bought from a guano importer, Richard Algernon Payne in Liverpool. Samuel's son George met Richard's daughter Jane, and poof, there you go. Cute story.
Everybody's here now that's supposed to be here. Like,
are they all here?
Even Chris. Chris, you missed
it. He
it.
was in the wrong one.
Chris, you missed it.
We showed your blog.
Yeah. We mispronounced your city name.
Sorry.
Yeah, and we talked about Averill. So Rod Corkum says, lots of catchy titles here. I started one with a couple prelim chapters so far. Not sure if we'll ever get finished. The title would be The Descendants of William Corcoran and a History of Our Family. Oh, I was doing my taxes yesterday. So the book, Montbéliard, Immigration of 1752, his family is well detailed in this book. So check it out there. I'm sure he already knows that. Rod. Tracing the Footsteps, a journey of a Southern family from North Carolina to Georgia to Alabama to Arkansas, Jim Honey. That's a pretty good one because that is how things flowed, except there has to be a flow to North Carolina. Did they come down from the northern states as the children, they had so many children and the younger children left because there was no land for them? Or did they come straight from the borderlands? Down the Rabbit Hole, Kathy Webster. I like this one a lot. Itchy Feet.
Oh.
Itchy Feet. That would be annoying, but yeah. Downwardly, upwardly, horizontally mobile, Fran Blankenship. Yes, I'm reading all of these. Without a Trace from Deborah Campbell. I'd go with Raiders of the Lost Archive.
Ooh.
Rob Neff. That's a pretty good one. Remember, you got to
win. I do love Indiana Jones.
I do like that.
You'll be able to vote. I would call my book Nobody Comes from One Family, Pat Miller. I agree with that.
I thought of the name I would pick. I thought of the name for my book.
Would you? Nobody Comes from One Family?
No, I'm saying that I finally thought of the name that I would name my book.
What would that be, Sarah?
What Were the Chances?
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good. So you can vote for Chris or for Betsy and who's Chris? Betsy and Sarah and Greg, their titles as well, if you'd like. A Kilted Coal Miners of Cape Breton, the Highlanders who dug deep for a living. Now, I believe this appears to be a book that has already been published or written by one Brian Nash, How We Got Here, Genealogy. Check that out. He has nope, that's not a link. That's just underlined. Don't know. Is it a real book or that's his title? So that's a good one. Coal Miners, Desolation, Desperation, and Destruction, Donna Adams. That's a real happy read. Just uplifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Novel equal fiction, right? So if I wrote one, it would call it Eden's Womb. Okay. Peter Wetzel. Interesting concept of a community going out into the world from here, establishing a new colony, and he goes back to Adam and Eve that were present day Earth.
Wow.
That was a quick one. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Tony Boone. Love to know what that was about. Yeah? Yeah, was that a shotgun wedding?
What happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas.
Oh, I forgot to upvote these. Or maybe they came on after. No, I'm only on page
Just
2.
53 minutes, so that's
I'm working on it. You trying to rush me, Greg?
No.
It's karma.
The quote, the thing was posted 53 minutes ago. That's why you didn't vote it. You were already doing other stuff.
I'm being silly, Greg. Don't get defensive, man.
I'm not defensive.
I pick on you every week for time. I have so many different things I could write about, I guess. But the one would be fascinating to research, would be my Quaker families from Pennsylvania that migrated to Georgia, North Carolina, then on to Kentucky and Ohio and Indiana, and helped build those false-bottomed wagons to aid in the Underground Railroad. Undercover Buggy. Nice. I like that one. Audrey Martin. Oh, she's in here. She's in the chat today. I like that one. Undercover Buggy.
Mm-hmm. I think Audrey was the first one here this morning.
She was.
Yeah.
Like at 9 o'clock. She was here when I got here this morning. Confusion, Worse Confounded, from Gunnison to Gullison. All right, Aaron. I can understand that title. Oh, I am on page 3. That was it.
That was it.
Okay, and I have mine finally.
Okay.
I would call mine Drawn to Water.
Ooh.
Because rivers.
Not drawing water, but drawn to water.
Drawn to water. Yeah.
Very nice.
Anybody want to know why?
Yeah, why?
Just because I think in many of my lines, they lived by a river, they crossed the ocean maybe more than once. And my mother has a big draw to the sea and ships. So I grew up around ships a lot. So
sorry, I didn't mean to cover your face up while you were talking, Betsy, but yeah, we see that you were on the other channel. We lost Sarah to the other channel for a while too. You know, if she had stayed over there, she could have hosted both.
I know.
That's right.
It would have just been me and everybody else who was lost.
My book title would be How Many Notables Can I Find? So let's do this. By the end of the live cast, go through and check the titles that you like and pick the one you think is the best. I think that I'm going to go with the, what was the boogie?
My boogie?
The boogie, the false bottom boogie.
Oh, yes. Second last one.
The
Undercover Buggy.
Undercover Buggy.
That's my favorite so far.
I do like Volkswagens buggies, so I'm a vote for that. Even though it's not related.
And my spouse talks about the bug that they had as a child, and it had holes in the floor, and they used to have to hold their feet up when they'd go through puddles.
Oh.
You live in Ottawa, you live in heavy salt. C. Tabor says, I think I'd call mine Crazy Quilt. That's a good one.
That's neat.
Because of some odd connection my family's made. And also my grandmother was a quilter. GSL says, We Were Cheated.
Ooh.
They were cheated out of their time.
Oh, no, I'm pretending that's really a title.
Yeah, that's right. It could be.
Yeah, that's going to be a title. Okay.
I'm looking to see if anybody else had... No, I don't see any more. Let's see. Greg, you're supposed to make something happen.
I am?
Yeah.
Okay. What are we supposed to do? What are we making happen?
They want extra time at the end. And I'm like,
Oh,
you guys
extra
can
time.
just rewind. And
Greg will make that happen. Greg always makes that happen, and we love it.
Yeah.
Mine would be how many notables you can find. We were cheated. Let me see. Looking to see if there are any others. We were cheaters might describe some families.
Chris.
What really happened in Vegas? That's from Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
had
also
a
had
whole
another
lot of
suggestion.
fun before you people got here. That's a good one.
That's I don't live above it.
Yeah.
I like the itchy feet one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Itchy Feet. Those are my two favorite. Itchy Feet and Undercover Buggy. But because the Undercover Buggy is really cool, I mean, it's like a double entendre. So.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
Well, so is Itchy Feet. Okay, well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
If
I like
by
the
the
Lost
end of the
Archives.
hour, before I do the calendar of
Yeah.
events at the end, you guys come up with your idea for which is the best.
Yeah.
So we have a vote for Itchy Feet and for Undercover Buggy. Greg.
We have some notables this week.
No.
And how many are we related to?
We'll see.
Well,
so the profiles of the week are all about Australia because we just finished the WikiTree challenge on Australia. And so which Australian notable are you most closely connected to? And I'm cousins with a few of them. But you know what? I can't remember which one of those is the actual
Laura
closest.
Wicks is it's Herbert Rumsey is your closest.
Okay.
Herbert Rumsey and Oliver Heggie are your closest.
Are mine. Okay.
They're the same. Sarah, let's see what Sarah's is.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah's closest would be Errol Flynn.
We should have named this.
And Adrian Hazelton. Oh no,
should have named this segment "The Born Identity."
That's right.
Let's see. Betsy Coe is closest to Banjo Peterson. That's kind of ironic, isn't it? Oh, wait,
Yes,
Hosea
Banjo,
Easton is your closest. Hosea, no. Okay.
Yeah.
And mine is, I didn't even look at mine. Mine, I am 18 from Moi Quang Tart.
Oh.
I got to look and see who that is.
He's a tea merchant and philanthropist. Originally born in China. Yeah. We'll get to him. Yeah. Very cool.
How am I closest to this fella?
Well, that's interesting.
I have nothing interesting in my family. All of a sudden, I find one. That's pretty darn cool.
My guess is through his wife.
My guess would be two. Yeah,
But I don't know.
His daughter.
Oh,
So yeah, probably.
interesting.
It goes up to my Key family through the Culps, the Drennans, the Meldrums. So, it must be his wife, I guess.
Yeah, interesting.
All right, go ahead, Greg. That's too.
There we go. So continuing with the theme of mapping out our people. So I've got a little map here. The red dots are for the birth of one of the profile people, and the blue dots are for the death. And if you zoom in, the map will redraw itself and it'll put more dots in more specific locations. But the cool thing is, this week I didn't use Google Maps. I used WikiTree Plus to create the map.
Wow.
Yes. Now, I've actually been trying to use WikiTree Plus the last few weeks, but it kept crashing. And so this week was an episode of Ask Alesh Anything About WikiTree Plus, which I host once a month with him on Wednesday mornings, the first Wednesday of every month. So Wednesday, February 1st at 9:00 Eastern time, we did a session. And I had this question for him. And when he tried it, it crashed again. So I didn't ask him that question live on in the live cast because I didn't want him to crash and not actually have the answer. So afterwards, I would say we solved or we found the problem, but really I watched while Alesh problem solved and found what was happening, and then he's solved it within a few hours. or shortly thereafter. So
great.
now it works. And at the end of this, if you're interested, I will go through the specifics on how I actually created the map. And but anyway, so that's where people come from. So interestingly, it's generally obviously the more populated regions of Australia. So Sydney and New South Wales, Victoria. We have, I think it was Errol Flynn, but I'm pretty sure it was Errol Flynn who was born in Hobart, in Tasmania, and someone from Perth. Doesn't look like any of these profiles came from the northern part, Queensland or Northern Territory, which is interesting. But if you zoom right out to get to the whole world, you can see some of them were actually born outside and then moved to Italy, moved to Australia, and then a few of them were born in Australia and moved somewhere outside. And if I go to the layers, down into the person layer, and click on migration, you'll actually see the arrows of how people moved about, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I would suspect, though I didn't do this with the other ones, that there's more of these migration arrows with this set of profiles from Australia than with, say, the previous one for Scotland. There was some people who moved out of Scotland or into Scotland with the Scottish ones last week, but the majority stayed within that area. But here, a good chunk of them were migrating one way or the other. So that's kind of cool, I thought.
Great. Could this be embedded either onto a free space page or a profile page? I mean, the map once you create it?
That's an excellent question. I don't know the answer to it. When you first create the map you actually create a query in WikiTree Plus, and then from that query, which is up here, you click the link to take you to the map. So that initial link there is a link. So you could copy that link address probably and put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Put it on a profile page. I don't know about the image, if you can save the image. Yeah, you could save the image and then add that to your photo gallery.
Right.
So those would be two ways of doing that. So that's kind of cool. Okay, well, let's get talking about some of these people. So James Bourne, the Bourne connection. James Bourne, born in 1774, County Antrim in Ireland. And his claim to fame was that he was a criminal, one of those he was convicted and then shipped off to Australia. He was convicted in 1801 and later married Mary Atkins. Now, the interesting thing, this is interesting, a good thing that it was done by the people who created this profile was right at the very top of the biography. It says, basically, this is not these other two guys who get confused with him often. So there's a Byrne and another Byrne, whose names are often written as James Bourne. So the last name morphs, of course, right? They have similar names and they're often confused with them. But this is not him. This is the James Bourne who was convicted in 1801 and married Mary Atkins, not these other guys.
That could go back to the question of the week. Nice segue there, Greg, that one of the titles was Why So Many Names? Okay, thank you, bye.
Thank you, Megs. I suspect there will be lots of other titles that we can weave into these profiles. So you just go ahead and add those footnotes. So he was convicted, 1801, sentenced to 7 years in Australia. But what's interesting is in the profile, it was never found the exact crime that he was convicted of or why he was sent there. There was a theory. So this was 1801. In 1798, there was an Irish rebellion in parts of Ireland. And there's a theory that he may have been a political prisoner or he was sent away for political reasons.
Excuse me again. Sorry, Greg. Excuse me. There have been quite a few comments and commentary in the chat from some Australian viewers who are saying, we are not all convicts. They were not all convicts. They're kind of getting a little proud of their heritage. So tread gently there, and the comment, it doesn't say that he was convicted.
No.
So just letting you know, we love Australia.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Does it
I am
not
surprised Steve Irwin is not.
It says here he was.
Not Steve Irwin. Oh gosh, don't say that.
Okay, I'm just reading that here. The profile says that James was convicted.
Maybe they were talking about Steve Irwin, because that's what they've been talking about him over here. So maybe I'm confused. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna just be quiet.
Definitely not all.
I'm muting.
Not all people who moved to Australia were. He was just one of some. Anyways, okay, sorry. I will try and be cognizant and more careful in my language. Did not mean to offend anyone. Anyways, the profile is really well written. The Hercules was the ship that he was on, one of the most violent transportation voyages there was. There was even a mutiny on the ship. Half the convicts died before they even got to Australia. So it sounds like it's just a horrendous thing. The captain was actually convicted of manslaughter, and the mutineers were acquitted. That basically they were justified for mutinying.
I'm looking to see if Mary Atkins is in the chat today. I'm noticing that he married Mary Atkins.
Yes, yeah.
Funny.
That's interesting, eh? Yeah. So, and then when he died in 1852. That was registered under the name Burns, Byrnes, which is probably why there is the confusion of those other two names. So, and then in the research notes, it talks a bit about some of the things that was confused, or there's some debates about, and there's more details about the three that were completed. So, and then details about why he was sent to Australia.
Yeah, some of the crimes that you read about that some of these people committed.
Very petty.
They stole a button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was
it's
very.
Like, okay, we're a little overcrowded. We're going to send you all away. Oh, we have some British home children. We're going to send them away too.
Yeah. Yeah. Very suspect. Hosea Easton, born 6th of March in Connecticut, but moved and lived in Australia in the end. So he was a stage actor, he was a comedian, musical virtuoso, and considered the prince of the banjoists. There's a picture of him right there, playing the banjo. One of the original Georgia minstrels. So he was married first to an unknown woman sometime before arriving in Australia in 1876. So he moved to Australia in 1876. And so that first woman had a warrant issued for financial support prior to his trip to New Zealand in 79. The marriage was supposed to be dissolved around 1880. So interesting, this guy decided to remarket himself, reinvent himself, and came up with a different background for him. So instead of being born in Connecticut, he decided he would make it a little more flowery or whatever. Hosea Easton, a tall, well-built, colored man of African descent, 27 years old, was born the 18th of June in Louisiana on the estate of a wealthy sugar planter, and then goes on. But he was at 5 years old, at tender age, he was ruthlessly snatched from his mother's arms. He's never again seen her, nor even have a faint recollection of her features. So he did a little bit of making up things there. Inventing. None of these invented facts correctly reflect his true childhood. But anyways, he grew up and he was teaching banjo and then passed away in Australia in 1899. But he was an entertainer, and a stage actor. Musical virtuoso. Is he the one that was closest to you, Betsy, the musician?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And here we have Errol Flynn, who is my cousin. 23rd cousin, 3 times removed. So he's not super close, but he was the one who was born in Tasmania, in Hobart, Tasmania. Screen legend, Australian American actor known for his romantic swashbuckling roles and
I loved his movies.
Yes?
I probably still do love his movies.
I don't know if I've actually ever seen one of his movies.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Isn't there a funny story about him after he died? Somebody like stole his corpse.
Oh.
Isn't there a funny story? Is that him?
That sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know the details of it, but that sounds interesting. So he was the only son and the eldest child of his parents, Theodore Flynn and Lily Young. In 1932, he played the part of Fletcher Christian in the film In the Wake of the Bounty. Now, Fletcher Christian was the first mate on the Bounty. The Bounty, remember, had Captain Bligh was the captain, and they mutinied against him because of his treatment. The really interesting fact, and someone actually put a comment at the bottom of the profile, so that's what led me to discover this. Fletcher Christian was actually his relative, was actually his fourth great-grandfather.
Wow.
So he played his fourth great-grandfather in the film.
Did he know that? That was the question.
Well, that's an interesting question, whether he knew that or not. But I thought, how wild is that? And then there's the Fletcher Christian profile is really well done. So with even painting, he himself had kind of a sad end to his life. Poor Fletcher. I mean, he lived in Tahiti, so that's not bad, but he didn't survive as long as one would hope after that. But anyways, I thought that was kind of a neat thing. But then he went on, he went to England. He acted a bit for the Northampton company there, and then signed a contract with Warner Brothers, and then eventually made it to Hollywood and did lots of films. The Adventures of Robin Hood, Charge of the Light Brigade, and the other ones to list here. So which one of these was your favorite, Megs?
I think that I don't remember the name of it, but it was let me look. It was probably, I don't think they have it listed there. If I went on Wikipedia, it's one where he is, of course, a pirate and he's swashbuckling and he's saving the damsel. But those were all of those movies. But there was one particular one that I really liked, but I don't remember the name of it.
Okay. So he passed away. He was only 50 years old, which is very sad. We're very young.
I was reading that he died of a blood clot, that he had a massage to try and relax his legs. And the guy, after the massage, he says, "I feel better." The guy walked out of the room, came back 20 minutes later, and he was unresponsive.
Oh,
so I'm assuming there was a blood clot going on.
That's too bad. But here's your CanCon, your Canadian content for this week. He died in Canada, in Vancouver, BC. So he made it all. Australia, England, US, Canada. He's hit lots of the world. And next is Jessie May Hill, daughter of George Thomas Hill and Clarice Halliday.
Okay, we have a clarification from Erin. She says that Errol Flynn did the stealing. It was Drew Barrymore's granddad, John Barrymore. I knew that there was some story in
really?
There. Yeah.
Swashbuckler and corpse thief.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
story. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
There we go. Thanks.
You know what? In the description of the live casts in the weekly newsletter, it said that it's like a Saturday house party.
House party, yeah, that's right.
So, casual house party.
Casual house party. There we go.
And I meant to wear my house coat today.
That's right. Oh. So Jess Hill is famous because she researched convicted women in Australia. Her research, known as Jess's Girls, is held in the Society of Australian Genealogists Archive collection. So she was born in 1915 in Western Australia, and did all this research. There were she died in 1995 at the age of 80. So the profile actually goes through and actually talks a bit about her research and what she found, and that was, I thought that was really well done for this profile. Really nice. Gives that it started out as a penal. Australia was started as a penal colony, and what I couldn't believe, what I did not realize, the numbers, over 24,000, almost 25,000, at least, well, it says at least 24,960 convict women were transported to Australia. And between 9 and 10,000 of those women were forced to work in one of 12 convict female factories. So that's horrible. So it's, I mean, important work that she did, you know, profiling that and digging into that and bringing to life.
And that commentary there, the contemporary Australia, for all of its multicultural vitality, remains haunted by the monocultural ghost of its transported convicts.
Yeah.
So that goes to some of the commentary that was going in.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Another quote that she had was that Australian history has been erased time and again. And she stated the convicts were related as free settlers instead of stating the facts, that the country was one giant prison. Aww.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice to have that pointed out.
Yeah. Adelaide Eliza Ironside, born 1831 in Sydney, New South Wales, part of the Australian colonies. You know, in the research, I didn't find when was the date that Australia became its own country. I should know that. I feel I should know that, but I do not. But hopefully, someone in the chat will tell me that. Obviously, it was after 1831.
It says her father was reported as being an old colonist. Oh no, that's good. Never mind.
No, a commission agent.
Yep.
Yeah, his father was. She was the only child that survived past infancy of this marriage, so that's kind of sad. Oh yeah, there it is. Old colonist dying in 1866. Adelaide Eliza.
January 1st, 1901, Greg.
Oh, January 1st, New Year's Day. Nice.
Federation Day.
Oh, that makes sense. So Adelaide was educated by her mother and showed a young age a literary ability, and with prose and verse. And then she wanted to study painting, so she moved to Rome, in Italy, and studied painting there. Unfortunately, she died of tuberculosis when she was in Rome, and in 1867, and then was interred back in London, England. So, and I opened up her. This is one of the paintings that she had done, The Marriage at Cana in Galilee.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Very nice. So she was the first woman artist and the first one to study abroad, I believe, is one of the things it said. Yeah. And then we have Andrew Barton Patterson, another cousin. Distant cousin, 21st cousin, 6 times removed, who was a major eventually. And he, another banjo. Banjo appears twice in our profiles this week.
Oh!
Yeah.
Sorry. I skipped
because
ahead in his profile.
What's that?
I said I skipped ahead in his profile, sorry.
So he was a bush poet, better known as Banjo. So Banjo was basically his pen name that he used. Author, journalist, war correspondent, horseman, like he's done lots of stuff. He grew up on a property, Narambala, near this country of small country town of Orange in New South Wales. And he basically went back and forth as a young kid from the farm in Sydney. So he lived back and forth. When he was, I think it was said here, when he was 7 years old, the family moved to the farm. And he always had a great fondness for horses, which was an inspiration for ballads later in life. As soon as he was able to ride, he and his siblings were sent to a bush school in Binalong, and he stayed there until he was 10 years old. And then went to Sydney Grammar School, so he was sort of in the city where he stayed with his grandmother, and then back and forth between the country and the city, basically. Quit school at 16, I believe, and became a solicitor. But while he was still doing that, he began publishing poetry under the name B and the Banjo, and then he just used the banjo because his favorite horse was called Banjo. Isn't that neat? But
The
he was
fact
the
that
one
he
who wrote Waltzing Matilda.
I know, that's what I was like, oh, yeah.
Isn't that wild? So this is, I mean, for me, this is his claim to fame, the Waltzing Matilda. Wonderful tune. Because he was imagining, because he could picture the swagman sitting around the campfire waiting for the billy to boil when he was a young boy. Now, I'm not sure what the billy is they're referring to here, to boil. But I'm guessing it's some game that was caught and whatnot. Is it like a kangaroo? Some type of rabbit?
It's a metal container used for boiling water, making tea, or cooking over a fire.
Oh, it's just the container. Oh, it's not an animal. Okay.
Yeah, I was afraid it was going to be
I know.
some cute, lovable animal, but no,
Yes.
it's not.
The Aussies in our
Like a
chat
llama.
here are probably wondering what we're doing here. We're destroying the whole the whole thing. But anyways, he also wrote the book The Man from Snowy River. Now,
Really?
is that the book that the movie was based on? There was a movie in the 70s, The Man from Snowy River. I kind of remember that growing up watching that. I don't know if it was a Disney film or something, but through his, anyways, it's a very interesting good read, this profile, really well done. But he met Rudyard Kipling, who was like the foremost English poet at the time, and they were friends, not rivals, which is kind of nice. He also became a journalist. He was a war correspondent in the Boer War. In the First World War, he went and he was going to volunteer, but then he ended up getting connected he became a chauffeur for Lady Rachel Dudley in the volunteer hospital. So he ended up working there. He got wounded. He was promoted to major during that at the end of the war. And anyways, he had a very interesting life. Passed away of a heart attack 5th of February 1941 at age 76. Lots of cool photos and stuff added to this as well. So this is really well done profile.
Yeah.
Herbert John Rumsey, he was whose birthday it is today, or he was born today. He's not around to celebrate because he was born in 1866. But happy belated birthday. Anniversary of your birthday.
I think it's still a person's birthday, even if they've passed.
Yes. Okay. Good. Yeah.
You got an
Well, it
answer
also
to your
says about,
question.
so it doesn't seem like they're sure.
Oh, okay. Well,
True.
birthday-ish.
Snowy Rivers movies were loosely based on Banjo's works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So yeah, and he's famous because he was the first president of the Society of Australian Genealogists.
Oh,
very cool.
Yes.
And he
Show us
passed
your
away.
mug.
What's that?
Betsy, show us your mug.
Yeah,
Yes.
show your mug. Australia. Woohoo!
Yay.
Nice. Yeah. And we should thank the Society of Australian Genealogists who helped out with the WikiTree challenge, but they also took part in our WikiTree Connect-a-thon in January.
They did.
Adding a whole team. So excellent work. Ruby Charlotte Margaret Hunter, born in the River Murray in 1955, passed away just in 2010 at age 54, way too young. She was a Ngarrindjeri, Barngarla, and Bijanjara. An Aboriginal, she used music to champion the rights of other Aboriginal women and children. Fifth child of Jeffrey Hunter and Irene Richards. 3 years old when her mother died of pneumonia. Very sad. But she was a musician, and Indigenous Australian, has the sticker there. I hope I didn't.
Very colorful.
Yes, I
Very
love
colorful, yeah. So she had a very difficult life, and the profile goes through that. But her music career took off. She married Archie, what's the last name? Tucker, I think?
Roach.
Sorry?
Archibald Roach.
Roach. Oh, there it is. Archibald Roach. Margaret Tucker. That's where I saw the name Tucker. Archibald Roach. And he sang one of her songs. And then she that gave her a recording contract. And then
Nice.
took that off. But they still, even after they became successful, they still gave back to the community and toured. But she died of a heart attack at only age 55.
Wow.
Inducted posthumously into the National Indigenous Music Awards Hall of Fame. Quang Tart, also known as May Tart, and there's a note at the bottom of this profile about naming conventions that in the Chinese you say the last name first and then the first name, and I'm not sure because of that which is which here. I'm guessing
Tart.
Quang is
Quang.
Is Quang the first name?
No, I think Tart is, right? I don't know.
Also known as Tart.
I don't know.
Oh, you know what? If we go to edit, we'll find out, right? So the first name would have been the May part, and moi. And the last name is, current last name is Quang Tart.
Huh.
Okay. Well, I'm still confused then. I'm sorry. I apologize for that confusion. Anyways, Quang Tart was born in China, and then he moved to in a place 65 miles from Canton. He was an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and a tea merchant. So he moved at the age of 9 to Australia with his uncle, and eventually made his fortune in the gold fields. And he became a member of the Odd Fellows. And then at the meeting where they inducted him as a member, he invited them all back to his place for supper. And he says, "We're after ample justice was done to the supper, and which songs and given by several members, and the meeting broke up at an early hour the next morning." He set up a network of tea shops and dining rooms, the Quang Tart and Company around Sydney, and he built his own home in Gallup House. Was a Freemason. Married Margaret Scarlett, and that's probably who your connection is through. I'm guessing Mags.
Yep.
And they had 6 children, and a statue is erected in his name. And then the last one is Dora Wicks, who was born in 1901 in West Maitland, New South Wales. Had 10 siblings, and other sources, that's all it says. She died at 72. Where are the other details? Other sources.
In the research notes, there's sources relating to Dora's mother and siblings.
Oh, this is your life.
Yeah, she looks like somebody that you just sit down and talk to for a really long time.
Very interesting. Yeah. So, her daughter was the administrator of her estate. I did not click that link to read this, so I don't know anything more about her details. But maybe I will take this moment to just talk about one of the changes that happened last week that we didn't talk about, and that was the addition of the tree apps. Right. I'm just going to refresh this page so it looks more like the traditional page there. So if you go to the tree apps, click on that, you'll get the list of tree apps. And what it does is so when I clicked on it, it opened up to the fan chart because that's the most recent one that I've used. If it's the first time you've gone into tree apps, the default one is the dynamic tree, which is this one here, where you click on a plus sign and it expands and whatnot. But if you prefer a different one, like the fan chart, for example, and you click on that, then the next time you go to someone else's page, it puts a cookie on your machine, so it will remember that and it'll open up the fan chart the next time. But if you want the old style, one, you can click on the link here that says Basic Tree, and it'll
Or-
open up.
Or
the
click
other
on
thing is,
ancestors straight from the profile.
that's right. Yes.
Yeah, a lot
So-
of people were saying, "Oh my gosh, where did the one
And it
that
hasn't
we
gone
loved so
anywhere. It
much
just-
go?"
Yeah, it's actually easier to find. So let me just jump over to someone else's. You don't have to go through the tree apps, but if you hit the tree apps and you don't know how to get back, that's why I wanted to show that one first, because that's where people were freaking out. But the ancestors button, and it's either on the side if you've changed where your profile is, or if you or it's right here. You click on the ancestors and it pops it up right there, and then it's got all the old goodness that was there with all the other links and stuff.
And
And
one more button that got added.
what's that?
Scroll down. Oh, there you go, right there.
The problems and questions.
Yeah.
So and I haven't looked through this one a lot, but that's if there are issues that need to be resolved, right?
Right. If there's a privacy issue, you can request a takedown. You can send a private message to the profile manager. Mistaken or missing content, you can tells you different ways you could address that. Trusted list request is now underneath there as well, and the unresponsive profile manager request. A lot of people were saying, "What happened to that?" It's in this button underneath the problems and questions, and matches and merges in other questions. So if you've got a question or bugs, you can ask a question. It'll take you to G2G and auto format that information for you. But as well, if you're having a discussion with this person, and you're not getting along, or things are not going right, or you notice that this person is adding 15,000 profiles with those sources kind of thing, down at the very bottom of that page, you can click on problem with members, and it will automatically put that number for their profile in. Before it would automatically put in WikiTree 1 or whatever it was, but you had to fill it in. You don't have to do that if you use that.
So yeah, this is another
ease of use.
Yeah.
Ease of
That's
use.
good.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. And there are a few other things that are in other places. So the DNA connections are under the different under that menu and the other things. But that's about all I have to say for today.
You sure about that?
I think so. I think I've gone through all the profiles.
Sarah.
Smile.
I guess we have a few minutes to look at the photos real quick. Let's share my screen. I wasn't ready yet. Okay. Okay. So it took me a little bit to find this, but you have your main page for the 12 months of photos. So, and all the way at the bottom here, you have the different things that are going to be. So I'm going to go through the last few of grandparents, and we'll look at homes, the new one for February real quick. Got 28 images in total for the month of January.
Oh.
So we'll look at the last page. I guess last 8.
Sarah, you don't have to rush.
Really slow, Sarah. They've missed you so much. They would just want to hear your voice.
Yeah,
well, I know.
so don't rush.
I know that
Enjoy it.
That there's seen all the photos from other months, from other weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
But these are the last ones.
Actually, we did the photos last week, so
Right. We
Yep.
saved it up.
Okay.
But
Well-
some people got inspired and snuck in a few more.
yeah. So it's now a monthly photo thing.
Yes.
I guess we should have talked about this before the live cast.
Well, I know we talked about it in January, so
Yeah, that's right.
yes, instead of weekly photo themes, there's now monthly photo themes. And yeah, so last month, January, was grandparents, and this new month is homes. So we'll just go through these. This last page of 8.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll see animals. I don't know.
There was a cat last time.
Yeah,
There was a
that
cat,
was
yes.
or a dog. We couldn't decide. We needed your expertise.
This gives me like a Grease vibe. This-
Yes.
Isn't that a great crisp?
I love
picture?
that.
Yeah.
Yes. And there they are.
Oh, the
Decades
same
later.
people.
Yeah, the same
Oh, I
people.
didn't even realize that.
Oh, that is
Oh,
huge.
yes.
With their
that is
grandbaby, I
cool.
guess.
Wow.
Oh, that's a pretty dress.
Isn't that
Mhm.
gorgeous?
Wow.
New Year's Eve party.
I have a picture like that with my grandfather with his hat askew, just like that.
Oh
And a very short tie.
I don't
yeah.
know how,
Almost.
Well, you don't want to get stuck in machinery, so
Mm.
it's practical.
True.
No. That is too bad. There's tape across that one, but that's a cute picture too.
Yeah.
Mhm. At least
I
it's
could probably
not.
be edited out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the tape there. Yeah.
Somebody just said that is my grandparents, Donna
Oh.
Bauman.
Oh, Donna, nice.
Yeah.
Which one was
Which
it?
ones? This one, I assume.
Hazel Taylor.
Charles and Hazel Taylor.
The
Petrini family. She looks
Mary
like a
L.
nice. She looks like a
Hauser?
nice grandma.
Yeah.
Boy, I'd tell you what. Can you imagine the hugs you'd get from her?
Oh yeah.
Like some good hugs. Those are the last 8 on
Nice.
the grandparents page, and then we have on home. We only have 3 so far, so
Okay.
maybe there'll be a dog in one of these photos.
That's a nice craftsman style home.
Mhm.
Poor.
I know Mags likes to look to see if there's any people in windows.
I know.
Yes.
I'm looking
Peeping Tom.
for
That's an
ghosts.
interesting, like the little triangle there above the porch.
Yeah,
I've seen those before. And
that doesn't look like craftsman style. That little dormer
Mm.
thing. Anyway, Driftwood Cabin, 1945.
the family in front of it, and
Home
I
from
guess
work.
you get just little gets a porch a little bit.
Yeah.
Home from work.
So guys, go to this page and upload some photos of homes of your grandparents and your family, and we'll take a look at those that you upload next week.
Excellent.
I want to upload a photo of my parents' home, but I get in trouble when I upload stuff about them because they don't like to be uploaded about. Isn't that mean?
Oh.
I think that's mean.
Yeah. Gotta save it for posterity.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
is it time for tip of the week?
it looks like it's time for tip of the week.
I think so.
Which is, are you watching your watch list?
Ooh.
So the watch list, and let me just make this go here and make it bigger. Your watch list is all your profiles that you are a profile manager of, or where you are on the trusted list. And the easiest way to get to it is just under my WikiTree, and there it is. You can see that I have a very, very tiny watch list.
Wow.
Only 264. It is recommended that you not have more than 5,000. So I'm not in any danger yet. I only have 5% of that. The reason for that is anything over 5,000 is going to tax the WikiTree system, and you're not going to be able to do certain things, including, ironically, run some auto things that would help you reduce the size of your watch list. So you want to keep an eye on it, make sure it's not too big. Also, if you're interested in doing pre-1500 certification at some point, you do want to keep your watch list small because the certification panel looks at everything on your watch list to see if you keep good profiles, I guess. So someone passed that along to me when I was doing my Tartan Trail training. So it's very, very useful. I usually keep it sorted by name, but you also can sort it by birth date. And if if I want to reverse that, I can go like that. And for those of you who are doing 15 for 15, there is one of the missions that's to improve 15 of your oldest, the ones you have edited longest ago. So that's where this is very helpful. It's sort by edit dates. And you can see, yeah, I got really active around December of 2020. So
I want to point out that the first one that you added was Niagara Falls, Welland, Ontario.
that's right. That's right.
Nice.
I'm proud Canadian roots. Yes.
Excellent.
Absolutely. So it's amazing, you know, once you get sort of knowledgeable with WikiTree, and then you go back to those earlier profiles, you sort of like think, oh my goodness, what was I doing? So I'm going to use this sort feature to go ahead and work on that mission. Now, what do you do if you are over 5,000 or getting, you know, it's just unmanageable? There is a way to do this all as a bulk process, so you don't have to go one at a time. So maybe could we throw this link up for everybody? Thank you. So this is a really helpful page. I'm not going to go through it myself, but I'll take you almost there. So if I want to remove myself, there's a couple of levels here. If you want to remove yourself as the profile manager, but just stay on the trusted list, then you could do that. Or you might want to remove yourself completely. So I'll pick the first option, and then you can see it gives me all my profiles. One thing that's kind of cool is like Alonzo Black, the whole Black family, that family is not related to me, but I was working on a project with them about 9 months ago. So if I decide I don't want to have them on my watch list anymore, I can go like that and automatically get everybody who's related to them, and then, you know, do that as a group.
Susan Anderson has a question for you.
Yes.
She says, is there a way to find your oldest edits as opposed to the oldest edits on your watch list? That would be your contributions and going back 6,000 pages to your very first contribution.
I think you can change the URL.
Yeah.
Use the URL to backtrack it faster.
I think probably that's what I would do, what Mags just said. Although I would want to ask Alesh that.
I see Greg is already programming a little tool to be able to find your earliest edits. Azure says WikiTree Plus.
Yeah.
I
think that's the way.
That's probably it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna deselect, and then there's one more thing that I want to show you about watch lists, which is that WikiTree has not just watch lists, but if you have the WikiTree browser extension, you can have an extra watch list. So, yes. I've been working on John Philip Sousa, bandmaster, and as you can see, he's managed by the Notables Project.
Can't see that.
We're seeing remove Co31.
Oh, sorry.
We don't want to remove Co31.
We do not want to remove.
There he is.
Piccolo's in my ear as you speak.
Okay. Do you all see him?
Yep.
There he is. John Philip Sousa. So he's managed by the Notables Project, but it's an open profile, so I'm okay to work on it. but I want to keep a closer eye on it. So you can see up here, if you have the WikiTree browser extension, you will have these buttons here. Now the binoculars would show my extra watch list, which I don't have anything on it right now, but I'm going to add Susa to this watch list, which is just this plus button.
Oh,
Okay, now if I go to my extra watch list, there he is.
John Philip Sousa.
Yay!
excellent. Wow.
So, tip of the week.
My extreme cold warning has ended, but it's only like minus 25 now. I just got buzzed that ended.
Uh-huh.
That.
So it's no longer extreme cold. It's just very cold.
Just very cold.
Just very cold.
So, does anybody do you like itchy feet? Do you like undercover buggy? What was your favorite question of the week? So think about that. I'm going to go through, put your poster answers up here, and I'll go through our calendar for the week. Let's see, we've got the social media page if you want to check that out from the ambassadors team. And also if you want to share some of this, tell people about the live cast. So you can go week of February 5th, which is the week that's upcoming, as you're actually updated this so that we would have the updated link this time. Thank you for that, Betsy. So question of the week, link. You can go to Facebook, Twitter. You can just go straight to it. One name study Tuesday, one place study Wednesday, project showcase on Thursday, the connection finder on Friday. This week is Friday date night. That's looking for those profiles that don't have dates. And you can have a date with Julie. She doesn't dress up or bring champagne, but it's a nice date night with Julie. And some other people show up. Meet our members comes out on Saturday, and look at that. The live cast is highlighted in green. So, and like I said in the WikiTree news, it was listed as Kiki. Hey, Kiki. It was listed as a casual house party. So, like I said, I need to find it. Somebody said I needed to find an orange house coat. And then our 12 photos, our homes, and then there's the 52 Ancestor Challenge. There's also, Aowen did this week. Thank you, Aowen. She listens to us, doesn't she? She's such a good elf. What's happening around WikiTree? So it's a pinned post on the very first page, pinned at the top. You see the check mark there? What's happening around in February? So here are some great things. So ask Alesh on February 1st. And I've heard that Greg might hang out there sometime.
Yep.
New member Q&A with Betsy Co. on February 2nd.
And tomorrow.
Yep, the weekly challenge. Oh, yeah, and tomorrow. So I'm a week behind here. So the weekend chat, that's today. The roundup, that's today. Sourcing sprints going on today. New member with Betsy Co. tomorrow. Friday night, date night, the 10th. So here's one that wasn't here. The Global Nations Tour, 15 Nations Global Tour Argentina wrap up. The WikiTree Challenge for the week of 16th through the 23rd of the Freedmen's Bureau. So go and check this out. And not only that, she's got the February challenges listed and other ongoing events. The 15 for 15 mission, Communiteers community event, and We Will Rock You nominations if you want to know about that. So here you go. Other great things. Thank you so much, Alan. That is great. And there's a Google Calendar that you can subscribe to. I subscribe to it, but I have so much stuff on my calendar that I sometimes lose that stuff. So I'm very, very thankful that this is all in a concise view and I can share it with you. And Hillary Gadspeed says she's joining Betsy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yay.
Excellent.
So that's what's going on around the tree. And here there's a new system for creating profiles, version 2 from Chris. And we went over the changes to family trees and profile tabs. The WikiTree Challenge, Society of One Place Studies, and the number 4 is the Freedmen's Bureau that we mentioned before. So that is it. Do we have any votes for what would be the best profile, the best answer for the question of the week?
Nobody said anything.
Nobody said. You people are fired. Greg, what's your vote?
I liked Raiders of the Lost Archive. I thought that was cool.
Sarah, do you have a vote?
Oh, I thought we were just choosing between two. The Undercover Buggy and Itchy
No,
Feet.
you can choose anything you want.
Well, I'm doing Undercover Buggy because
Okay. Betsy Coe's is Itchy Feet and mine's
Itchy
Undercover Buggy. So we're going to go with Undercover Buggy. I got to find it. And I'll vote it. Where was it? There we go. Best of the week.
There we go.
Audrey won it this week. Yay.
Yay, Audrey.
For your win, you get to come back next week and see us again.
That's right.
So that's the week, the week it's been here at WikiTree, and we will see you. Anybody have anything else to add?
No.
All right. So we will see you next week at same time, same place. You know how to find us now.
Same bat channel.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.